My name is Corinne, and I am basically a Boise native. I have lived here off and on since I was 5 years old, moving away a few times, but always returning back to just the magical seasons of Boise. I've been really enjoying noticing the way the sky changes with the seasons. For example, in the winter, if you look at the sky when the sun is out, of course, if you look at the sky, it's this very like deep, saturated blue. And then in the spring, as probably most of us have spent maybe more time outside than usual, it's been this very sort of bright, vibrant blue color. And I noticed just this past weekend when the temperatures got a little bit hotter, it was like over 80 degrees. And I noticed suddenly the blue was a little bit, it was like you would put a filter over the top of it and added some white to it, which was really interesting. So that's been my own personal observation of the seasonal change this year. And the funny thing is I've lived here again off and on for 33 years. And I've never noticed the way the sky changes colors. So I'm feeling pretty grateful to have the time, or to have had the time so far to get to notice that. And so I wanted to bring that into our meditation today. Just that noticing of small, subtle things. There's a practice you can do. You could do this now even if you wanted to, but there's a practice you do where you lay under a tree or sit under a tree or look at a tree, one with leaves on it specifically. And you start by looking and focusing your attention on the leaves of the tree. So you notice the leaves and the edges of the leaves and the way the leaves are attached to the branches. And then you shift your attention, your eyes, your focus. You shift your attention and you start to notice the way you can see the sky between the leaves. I'm looking out my window at a tree right now because I can't not do it when I talk about it. But then you try to focus on the blue or the color of the sky that's in between the leaves. Really full trees, it's definitely more challenging than, maybe more sparse trees. But I invite you, next time you're outside walking, if walking through Boise especially, we have so many trees here. Wherever you are, just take a moment, look at the trees, notice for yourself, am I looking at the leaves? Or can I see the sky between the leaves? And just take a minute with that and notice how that just resets your energy and your attention. So let's go ahead and get started with this meditation today, finding a comfortable place to be. If you want to sit, if you want to lie down, that's completely up to you, whatever feels good today. And you can just let your eyes close. Adjust your body, that's what I'm doing, so you find a comfortable place. And just start to pay attention to yourself in this moment. It's Tuesday at my house, which means all around me, my neighbors are having their landscaping work done. So there's mowing and grass cutting and all kinds of sounds that I can hear right off the bat. What are the sounds that you hear? Do you have music playing? Sounds of outside, maybe you hear birds or maybe you hear traffic. There is a little more of that now than there was even last week. And maybe if you're sitting, maybe you start to sit just a little taller. And if you're lying down, maybe you start to feel a little heavier in your body. And we've been here together for 5 minutes, or maybe less, or maybe longer, depending on when you joined. But we've been here together for about 5 minutes. And I want you to think for a moment, how many judgments have popped up, or how many judgments have you made in these 5 minutes that we've been here together? whether it's about yourself or about me or something else completely. I personally had a small judgment of the landscapers outside, the sound. I was like, oh, so annoying. Why do they have to be here right now? Because that's their job and I'm being a jerk. That's a judgment though, and they happen. We have them all the time, all the time. A lot of times are really good judgments. So when I say good, I mean like the really mean, nasty ones. A lot of times those ones we reserve specifically for ourselves. That's what I've noticed is the really harsh judgments tend to be reserved for ourselves, judging ourselves. And I invite you today to set an intention for this meditation of allowing yourself or inviting yourself to release that need to judge yourself, to release that nature, that human nature to judge yourself. It is human nature. We are all born with a character known as the judge inside of us. It is sometimes referred to as ego and all of these other things, shadow, so many other words, but it's judgment. And it's there because we're human. It's in all of us. So I invite you to set an intention for this meditation to release judgment of yourself, or to start to unwind your attachment to judging yourself, no matter what it's about. We all do really stupid, horrible things. Again, it is human nature to make mistakes. But the mistake, whatever it is, whatever horrible, terrible thing it is, the mistake is only as bad as the judgment that you put upon yourself for it. So I invite you to set the intention to release your judgment on yourself, to release your judgment on yourself. During this shelter in place and during these quarantine times that we've been in collectively, there's been a lot of time to be alone with how we feel or think. And there's a lot of time to be alone with our thoughts. And when we're alone with our thoughts, we have more time to judge ourselves for not eating healthy, or to judge ourselves for eating again today for the 27,000th time, right? Or judging ourselves for not meditating, not taking this half an hour to meditate, but maybe watching TV or doing something else. Judging ourselves, a judgment that's been coming up for me, is not taking advantage of this time and creating something and making something out of it, like some, the great American novel or whatever, right? But again, those are all judgments. Those are all judgments. There's nothing wrong with any of that. It's a judgment that we put on it. And if you stop judging or you release your connection to that judge within you, then it's just a thing. Then it's just something. It's something you have done. It's something that has happened, and you can move on. So we'll set that intention together. So I'll just hold quiet space for a couple of moments and just take a moment to connect with that intention of releasing your attachment or desires of judgment on yourself. Releasing your need to judge yourself. Try to bring your attention to your navel, to your belly button. Bring your attention to your navel. What does it feel like? Can you breathe into your abdomen? Can you breathe into your belly, into your navel? Can you feel your belly start to expand outward as you breathe in and contract inward as you breathe out? At your navel, imagine a tiny point of bright yellow sunlight. A tiny point of bright yellow sunlight right at your navel. And as you breathe in, feel that light begin to grow outward, front to back, side to side. And as you breathe out, imagine that that light that you created on your in-breath condenses back down to that tiny point, that tiny stream, and shoots straight out of your navel like a laser beam. So you breathe in, feel that tiny point, that tiny yellow sunlight, feel it expand. And as you breathe out, feel all of that energy contracting together in one single point as it shoots out from your navel, shoots out from the middle of your back. So it's going in front of you, behind you. Take a moment to get comfortable or to explore that feeling. We'll hold a couple moments of silence for you to explore this energy, this light in your abdomen, at your navel. And now I invite you to imagine an image of a sun. If you were to draw a picture of the sun, what would it look like? If a child was to draw a picture of the sun, what would it look like? Take a moment to paint that image in your mind's eye. Most likely you created an image of a round ball, a round circle with rays or points extending all around. So now I want you to feel or visualize or imagine that as you inhale, you're breathing in the power, the fire, the heat of the sun into your core, into your center. And now, rather than just that one beam shooting out forward and back, I want you to imagine that there are rays of sunshine that shoot out from around your center. Like you have a circle or a tube around your abdomen. And the rays are shooting in all directions. Breathing in, gathering up this energy of the sun, this hot, fiery, active power. And as you exhale, sending it out, each ray sending it out into the space and the world around you. I'll hold a couple of minutes of silence here to let you explore that feeling. How big and how bright can that light within you grow with each breath? How far can those beams of light, those rays of light, those rays of power expand from you in all directions with each exhale? Now bringing your attention back into the rest of your body, I invite you to take a moment to notice how many judgments you passed during that visualization exercise. How many judgments on yourself, on someone else, on me, on this practice, on the visualization? How many judgments showed up? Maybe it didn't show up as judgment. Maybe it showed up as doubt, or irritation. And now notice as you are observing any judgments that have arisen for you. What is your response to noticing those judgments? What kind of response are you having to your own thoughts and to your own judgments? Is it harsh in any way? Is it a judgment on top of a judgment? Accept that judgment is a natural part of the human experience. And accept that you have all of the power you need, all of the power you could ever need to not perpetuate the cycle of judgment by judging yourself for judging, and then judging yourself for judging yourself for judging, and so on and so forth. You have complete control and absolute capacity to greet your judge with loving kindness, to greet your judge with forgiveness. How hard, how difficult is it for you to say to yourself, I love you? How hard or how difficult is it to say to yourself, I accept you? How difficult is it to say, I forgive you? I forgive the judgments. A judgment is simply a thought. And while your thoughts exist, and they are things and they feel very real, you have absolute control over whether you identify with your thoughts or witness your thoughts. Become aware when judgment surfaces. Become aware when the judge takes over. And the thing about awareness, the superpower that is self-awareness, is that it is the seed of self-acceptance, love, self-love. And the thing about awareness is the moment you become aware of something, it no longer can hold power over you. Notice the opportunities for judgment. Notice the choice you have. In that moment, I could judge myself for not putting the dog in the other room. Perhaps you judge me for not putting the dog in the other room. But you can also choose not to. I can choose not to judge myself, not to judge others. We'll hold another couple of minutes here of silence, and I invite you to just take this connection to your own judge and have a conversation with your judge. Or create an image for your judge, or a voice. So when your judge shows up, when judgment shows up, you can see it as separate from you. You can experience or witness your judge as separate from your true self, from who you truly are. I would like to offer you space now in these last few minutes of our meditation together. I'd like to offer you the space, the opportunity, the time to release any active judgments within you right now. And as you release these judgments, sending them down into the earth, know that the earth will compost this energy, this negative energy. The earth will compost it, these judgments. And she will convert all of your judgments, all of our judgments, into clean, reusable life force available to us all at any time we need it. From judgment to acceptance, and from acceptance to love. And take your time beginning to return your attention back to where you are right now. Bringing your attention slowly back to any sounds that you hear outside around you, to any feelings within your body. May you feel empowered to face your judge and face your judgments when they arise with awareness, with compassion. Whenever you are ready, maybe you lightly blink open your eyes, letting some light back in. Thank you so much for joining me. I love you. Namaste.